Welcome to Voices from the Bench, a dental laboratory podcast. Send us an email at info@voicesfromthebench.com or look for us on Facebook at Voices from the Bench. Greetings and welcome to episode 246 of Voices from the Bench. My name is Elvis.
And my name is Barbara.
What's happening, Barb? How are you down in warm and not rainy Florida?
Freaking awesome. I'm just great. It's been a great week. Super busy. My mom turned 80. We had parties and my brother is in town. And I don't know. It's just really special. So I'm in a very good spot.
Yeah, take the good weeks when you can.
Yeah.
Are you guys getting super slammed for the holidays or?
Yes, Elvis. Yeah. I kicked some serious ass today. I took yesterday off to spend time with my family. And then today I was just like, whoa. So yes, and yes.
So you doing the high aesthetics, what's your cutoff date for stuff to be done by the end of the year? Have you reached that date yet, or?
No, I don't have a cutoff date. We do whatever comes in, we do it digitally or.
You don't have that day that after this you can't have it before the end of the year?
No, not in that area because, it's smile design cases. And so if I can get them done, I will. If I can't, I'm not going to do them in 4 days.
I was going to say, if it comes in on the 28th.
No, but I usually don't say no. So if I can make it happen, I do.
Well, that's why everyone likes you. You don't say no.
Oh, come on.
So we actually have kind of a big of announcement, but we were actually going to hold off on telling everybody this, but some people have found out.
How? I want to know how.
I don't know.
It's probably Sean Nowak and Joe.
Joe involved, I wouldn't doubt. But, it's hard because I don't want to get too excited because we're still 70 days away.
I'm going to get too excited.
From this event. But at LMT Lab Day Chicago, this is 2023, of course, Barb and I will be recording the podcast from the Grand Ballroom, A and B, with our new friends from...
Yeah, they've been my friends forever.
More your friends, but I'm getting friendly with them. Ivoclar Vivadent.
Yes.
I know. We're going to be in Ivoclar's big ballroom, and they're going all out because this year they're actually celebrating 100 years.
That is so fantastic.
Isn't it?
Yes.
That's a lot of years. And how do you celebrate a whole century? Podcasting. That's... I think they had it in their plan they wrote 100 years ago.
That's awesome.
So that's right. Remember, right before you go down the escalators to the main exhibit hall, there are those big ballrooms. You know what I'm talking about. And one of them will be Ivoclar. And they have agreed to set up a spot so Barb and I can record anyone willing to sit down. So, we're still 70 days out. So start making plans, saving money, asking for time off, distracting your family so you can come to Chicago in 2023 and hang out with us at the Ivoclar Ballroom February 24th to the 25th. In 2023. And I'm sure as we get closer, a lot more details will come out.
Yeah, because somebody will find out. Like Sean Nowak.
If you read it on the internet, it's got to be true.
Right.
So this week, we welcome removable technician Ashleigh Henderson. If you spend any time on Instagram, also known as the biggest source for dental technician podcast guests.
Yeah, pretty much. And Elvis.
You might have seen Ashleigh in her work. What we didn't know when Barb and I asked her to come on is that she's actually with Affordable Dentures and Implants out of Nashville, Tennessee. So it was really great to talk to someone because we've never had anybody on from Affordable. Yep. Ashleigh talks about getting into the industry by pouring models for a clear aligner company, finding her way to Aspen, and then to Affordable. And within that, she talks about workflow, all those same-day walk-ins, working directly with patients and handling their expectations, which isn't always easy.
Right on.
Training, her on social media,
hair,
her bright-colored hair, and so much more. It was a great opportunity to talk to someone that has worked both at Aspen and Affordable and to learn what she has seen over the years. So join us as we chat with Ashleigh Henderson. Outside of the podcast, I actually have a real job. I know, it's hard to believe. I get to work directly with dental offices to provide amazing smiles to patients. But don't we all? but I do it with data instead of a handpiece or a mill. I use data that most labs already have but don't know how to access it or use it. Enter iCortica. iCortica. If your lab is already using Magic Touch, great, you're halfway there. If you aren't, then go get Magic Touch just so you can use iCortica. It will be worth it. Let's be honest, access to easy-to-understand information is the key to any sales or customer service position. Did I mention that they have bar graphs? This is exactly what iCortica does for me on a daily basis. Every morning, I wake up to an email showing me the risks and the opportunities across all of the customers. I can then dive in to see specific customer information and look at so much like sales by product, trends by category or restoration. I can see all the notes and I can even see their remake percentage. It allows me to know who I should talk to about what without having to spend hours digging into production software or making a ton of Excel spreadsheets. It's all right there. Every metric I need to be successful. So do yourself and your lab a favor and head over to icortica.com/voices or send Rob Nozell an email at rob@icortica.com and start understanding your dental offices in a way you never had before. Check out this episode's show notes for all of those links, and we thank you for your support of the podcast, iCortica, and I personally thank you for making my job easier. Voices from the Bench. The interview. We'd like to welcome to the podcast today Ashleigh Henderson from Nashville, Tennessee. How are you today?
Hi, guys. I'm good. I'm just peachy. How are you doing?
Doing fantastic. We both doing fantastic. What's better, peachy or fantastic?
I don't know. I mean, I think I'd settle for a little of both.
Yeah.
Good answer. I definitely.
I'll take anything above a kumquat. That's what I would take.
Yeah.
I'm good.
100%.
So, Ashleigh, like so many other people we have on the podcast, we found you because I spend too much time on Instagram.
Oh, yes, you
Right
do.
on.
I do. It is a guilty pleasure of mine, and I see you posting lots of great removable work, and that brings you to the podcast for us to ask, how did you get started in the industry?
Awesome. So probably back in 2015, I would say I went to school to be a dental assistant, actually. Was like super excited about learning like the surgery side. So like I just went through like one of those little programs. I was like 6-7 months, graduated from that and did like oral surgery really briefly. It was far too much blood for me.
Yeah. Oh, God, yes. Ugh.
Like my
Okay.
first full mouth, I about passed out. Like I remember looking at Doc and I was like, yo, like I'm gonna hit the floor. Like blood was just pooling and I was like, oh, this is too much. So like I had to sit in front of a fan with like crackers and a cold towel and some water and like recuperate.
That
Like
would
it was
be
so
me.
embarrassing, but at the same time, like that's when I knew like I don't think I could do this every day.
Didn't they gear you up during school, show you videos or anything, or get you ready for this kind of thing? Or
So like they do, but the thing about it is like you go through the program and like you're learning all the book stuff for it, which is cool. That's great. But then like it prepares you. It is nothing compared to being inside someone's mouth. Like
yeah.
that was so like I externed at an oral surgery place. And so that's where like I got to see a lot of that. Which I guess was kind of a good thing because then I realized, you know, instead of trying to take it on a job somewhere for that, like that was not for me. So I tried to apply at like a couple of other places to be a dental assistant and nobody would hire me or like really give me a chance because I didn't have experience, which is crazy.
Every time they asked you, how do you deal with blood, you just kind of freaked out.
You know, we didn't really get into it. We didn't even get, I wouldn't even get as far as to be asked that question before they were like, yeah, you don't have any, okay. And I'm just like, dang, thanks for the opportunity. I appreciate it. Like,
I mean, someone's got to give you a chance to get started.
Right. Everybody has to get their, their foot in their door and their hands on things. So I ended up getting hired by like this orthodontic company who was making pretty much Invisaligners.
Okay, yeah.
Well, that's good.
So they hired me on for that. And like, it was a whole bunch of like, they didn't have a model trimmer. So we're pouring these models, which like the patients are taking their own impressions out of this putty and they're sending it in a kit, right?
Oh, it's one of those.
Yes. So
good quality impressions, I'm sure.
you like pop those suckers apart and you start scraping on them with a periostal, trying to like define the margins and like, like get it going. And then that's where like one of my coworkers there was looking for a lab trainee, and they work for Aspen, and they're like, hey, they have like a training program. They were trying to talk me into like, coming over there and doing that. And of course, like me being super complacent at the time, I was like, oh, I don't know. I was like really apprehensive about it. But then at the same time, I'm pretty impulsive. So, and I like a challenge. So I was like, you know what? Screw it. Like, let's go see what they have to give.
Real quick, how long were you making clear aligners? Like, were you there for a long time?
No, like 6 months, maybe 7.
Did they do anything but clear aligners?
No, well, like they just did liners. That's it.
So you just sat there and just trimmed trays like all day long.
So like I would either be pouring like 400 models a night, or like scraping them, or doing like the bioform, sometimes some 3-shape stuff. Just pretty much like every single part of the fabrication I eventually like got my hands on.
Yeah.
400 models. Is that a serious number?
It is, man. It was bananas. Like,
that's a lot.
And I work nights too. So like here I am just sitting here pouring
4 in the morning.
Pouring these models. Like, yeah, girl, you got 2 more hours and you're good.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So then you went over to Aspen, and so did you like it right away?
Oh, I loved it. Like,
really?
I've always been a fan of like real artsy stuff, and I guess that's just kind of how I felt like it was my calling. Because like when I got in there, I was just like, man, this is really cool, but like I could also tell it wasn't gonna be easy, Yeah. Like the person who trained me was really good, and like they just made everything look so easy and so nice. And then like when I would try to attempt it, I was like, my God, this looks like shit. Like I'm never gonna be able to like put anything in anyone's mouth. So yeah, so then like obviously the more you do it, the better you get, the more you learn. And then like eventually like a year later, I graduated from training. I had 2 different trainers. They were both really good, and I feel like they just kind of threw me in there, which prepared me for my career and my journey.
Do they do like a year training program? Do they bring you through like a series of things, or did they put you right in the removable area and you start on that?
So I'm not sure how long like the normal program is, because I think it might be
I've heard 48 weeks.
6 months. Some people get longer, some people get less, right?
Yeah.
Well, like my trainer got promoted, so I had to go work with someone else, and I ended up being there a little bit longer. But like when I first started out, I did model work, like landmarks, knowing your anatomy, like knowing what you're building on, and kind of like your guidelines and stuff. And from model work to processing and repairs and relines. And then the last thing was setting teeth, which took me a little while to really like, even now I still try to get better and better setting teeth. Always try to like pay attention to my setups, different ways to tweak things. I know there's a lot of inspiration out there. I don't think I'll ever be 100% the best, but, I always try to wake up and be better than I was yesterday.
Yeah. Me too, damn it.
Like my Instagram is solely for like reflection. So like, I have some stuff from like when I first started out, but it's still not from like the very beginning, which kind of sucks. But like I jumped on long enough. Like I think I've had it for like 2 years, and like I can see so much progression in just those 2 years.
Yeah. It's funny how we see our skills get better and better and better and better as we get better, actually. You get to see your stuff in the mouth, right?
Oh, yeah. So for sure. That's one thing I've always loved about like Aspen is as I got that hands-on training from people next to me guiding me, they also like threw me in the room where I'm able to see patients like do adjustments, like see how things are supposed to function and how they're supposed to work. I think that like plays a big deal in the fabrication of it, because I've probably worked at like 5 different labs now. And whenever I'm away from one where I'm working with the doc, I always miss that relationship. Yeah. Because I feel like that like sometimes can help make us better in a sense.
If you don't kill them first.
Oh, yeah. Well, you, for sure, you definitely like, because I've had my fair share of challenges and like in that department. As of now, as of late, I can honestly say like I'm super grateful to have the doctor that I have, and like the open communication that we have is great. And like I'm thankful for that.
Yeah. I've had them both ways too. Some of them are not fun to work with at all.
They are not.
You mentioned 5 other labs. Were they all Aspen, or were they?
No. So I started out with Aspen, and then I left for a year, and I came back to work for them in North Carolina.
Okay.
So like I've done a whole bunch of traveling with the companies, which is great because I've gotten to work with like so many different people. And as you guys may know, like nobody does everything exactly the same way.
Oh, absolutely not.
And it's the most beautiful part of it is like no one has to do something exactly the same. Like you can all do it your own way and still come out with something that's like beautifully effective.
Yeah.
So working with them, I also worked for like a couple other labs that were in Nashville. And now I reside at the Affordable Dentures and Implants in Nashville.
Oh, you're at Affordable. Okay.
That's cool.
Yes,
I don't think we've ever talked to somebody at Affordable.
Nope, I don't believe we have, Elvis.
Here I am.
Prepare, you're representing a whole company.
No.
Oh, don't you put that weight on my shoulders there.
What's it like? Is it like an Aspen? I always figured it was. They just did more implants.
So, yeah, and like honestly, that's one of the reasons why I was really drawn to them is because like I do want to advance my skills, but like there are a lot of places out here where it's hard to do that because they don't like do a lot of implants or do a lot of special cases where like as of late, like even I've probably been there for 3 or 4 months now, but like I've gotten to get my hands on a lot of implants and like learn the all on 4s and stuff like that, and it's really cool. Like it's really interesting, and I see it as a challenge, and it's great. I would say it differs from Aspen in a sense that I mean they're old school ways, or they want everything same day, right? So you're thinking, God, if you're doing all this stuff same day, how like you don't want to sacrifice your quality for quantity. But like I work with a really good team. Like just as long as we're all working together, I mean, it always helps to have help, right? Most Aspens have like 1 tech, maybe sometimes 2 or 3 if they're really busy. Just as long as like, you know, you have that flow going, you can make it work. But they said that their main goal, you know, is the same day dentures. But I think some offices have started to veer away from that, and they're trying to do like more scheduled stuff. I try to do like their immediates and stuff like that. Of course, you know, someone's in pain, someone needs teeth. I totally get it. Like we try to rush those, and then wax try-ins, we give like a couple days out, just, you know, just to make sure that we can give the best quality that we can give on those.
So are you the only technician at the location?
No. So I manage the location, and I have 2 other employees that work with me, and we all are full technicians. So pretty just versatile, you know?
Yeah. And how many same-day dentures do you do? Any? Or have you totally gotten off of that?
So, I mean, I'm not a fan, but I can't really have a voice because I guess that's kind of what the company stands for.
Yeah.
But, you know, we haven't really been super busy. I know that during their super busy season, they can do like 40 arches.
Yeah.
Like a lot.
Same day?
Yeah.
That's
and I'm looking at them even coming in being like, well, I don't know, you know, we'll see. Let's start with a certain amount and then do what's comfortable for us as far as quantity and quality. Because you don't want to put out 40 and for them all to look like shit, right?
Well, of course.
No doubt.
Yeah, but 3 people doing 40 arches in a day?
Yeah, so we haven't
from start
really...
to finish. I mean, that's before you even have the patient in the chair, right?
Yeah, so the impressions come in the morning, and they have a cutoff until like 10:30. I tell them 10. But we really haven't done that many since I've been there. So like as far as like what the people that, you know, I work with, what we can do.
Sure.
We haven't exactly been thrown that much. I mean, there's been one girl that's been there for 3 years, and like she was there during the time that they were doing all that. obviously they made it work somehow.
That's insane.
Yeah.
But like as of late, it really hasn't been too bad. Maybe at the most 20.
That's still a lot.
That's not too bad, but that's a lot.
Still
So
sounds
if
like a lot to me.
So that's got to be like what, individual? So there's 3 of you, you're saying? So that's like 7 a day, or are you talking 20 a day for you?
Oh, not for me solely. No. We split it. Yeah,
okay.
so it definitely,
I was gonna have a heart attack.
like it definitely
All
helps when you're able to split it, but it's not like consistently every day because like we are slow. So like say
Yeah.
we have 6 or 7 patients come in and they all want their stuff, like, you know, that's definitely doable. I think as a sense that we're starting as a different team, it's still going to be us figuring out what's going to work for us, you know?
Yeah.
Well, how do you usually split it? One person does one thing, or does one person handle each arch?
So
Does that make
like
sense?
how I yeah. So how I like to do it, obviously with the wax try-ins we have time, but I do like whoever's setting the case to follow through with the case. So say like we have like resets and like we have time on stuff like that. I want one person to follow through with that case. And then as far as immediates and stuff, we just kind of grab like we'll rotate it. One comes in, me and my other technician, like we just kind of rotate back and forth who gets it. And then I have another girl who I've been kind of helping train, and she is starting to really pick up on getting better at like setting teeth and stuff because like she's done everything else for the past 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Well, just now she's been able to get her hands on things. Slowly I'll let her grab what she feels she's comfortable with, which she's really good with like single arches. So me and him will pretty much knock out the bulk of it, and whatever she feels like she can grab, she'll do, but she also does all of the processing and then like a lot of finishing too.
Yeah. That's a big job. Jeez.
We all pretty much help each other though. We'll jump in, impressions come in, someone's in the middle of doing something. We can look around and realize that and just kind of be where we need to be.
Yeah. Makes a lot of sense, but still a big workload. Are you guys slow? You mentioned slow. I've seen a little bit of a slowdown. Have you're seeing the same thing lately?
Yes, we are. We really didn't have too many cases in the lab today. To be honest, like maybe 8.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? All of a sudden, I don't know if it's because tomorrow's voting day and everybody's just freaking out, but we've seen that as well here at our lab.
Yes.
It's all over the country.
It's time
Yeah.
change too. People are just losing their minds.
Yeah, this time
Yep.
change is ridiculous. So do you do a lot of partials, or is it mostly just completes?
So yeah, we do our fair share of partials. Like it really is just a mixture of like fulls and partials.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever we get thrown is pretty much what we do.
And so what do they do? So do they mostly go to affordable knowing that they can get something that quick? Or do they find out when they get there? How does that work for a patient?
So a lot of the times, like especially with patients with previous history, they know that like that mostly they will get same day, but as of late, especially since the office, like before I got there, they had lost a lot of staff.
Mm-hmm.
So they only had a couple people. Then they were doing it more on a schedule base, which is
Gotcha.
really like something that I want to push for. Like I understand doing some same day, but like I don't want it to get to where it's too crazy, you know? Of course I have to do what's required, but also making sure that, you know, we are doing the best that we can as professionals.
Yeah, for sure. Sometimes those same day repairs, that gets so very stressful.
They come in,
Yeah,
they're like,
we
hey,
got
can
that.
you repair this? And I'm like, if you bring in one more cracked partial, I swear to God, like,
I am gonna choke you.
like I literally, like, I feel myself, like, if I hear the door, my eyes automatically just like in my peripherals, they're burning a hole through like whoever is in that direction. I'm just like, I swear to you, can I just finish
Don't
this?
even come in here and ask me anything right now. I have enough.
Yeah, like it has a
I have
tendency
that look as well.
to get really, really crazy. But it's just being emotionally prepared for that. Lots of Red Bull,
Oh, yeah.
lots of rest the night before. You know, we'll come to Jesus meeting on the way to work. Whatever you got to do.
So where do they do the implants? They don't do implants there, do they?
Yeah, so yeah, they'll place them and like do the pickups and stuff like that.
Wow.
Are you a part of that conversion?
A little bit. Like I said, I'm learning, so I still am learning
Yep.
a lot. But mostly they do a lot of like the conversion, like we'll fabricate it and get everything ready for them. But when it comes to like actually doing the rest of it, that's mostly them.
Wow.
Are you in there when they're doing surgery, or are you on the floor
Hell
with
no.
your head in the bucket?
I mean, I can be in there. Like, I guess it got better as far as the more that I worked with people inside the mouth, the better that I got with all of that. Like, especially having in the past had doctors depend on me to do deliveries and stuff and adjustments, like on any patient that's just sitting there with their mouth open, bleeding to death. This is stabbing me. And I'm like, okay, let me take care of that for you. You know, like,
I got to tell you, the first time I went to a full arch surgery, the doctor was super cool. And he's like, hey, I hear it's your first time. I totally understand. Sometimes when people see the blood, feel free. Don't be embarrassed. If you need to leave, lean against the wall. If you need to sit on the floor, all of that. He's like, just don't worry about it. And I'm like, all right. You know, I wasn't even thinking about it till now. Thanks. And I get there and the patient's, you know, getting prepped. I look over and there's tape on her eyes.
Oh my God.
That freaked me out more than all the blood, all the bone shaving, it was, why? I don't know. It was just something about taping your eyes shut. Just kind of like horror movie freaked me out a little bit.
Oh. Why do they tape the eyes shut?
Well, when you go under, they don't want you waking up. I don't know. It just,
they do.
Maybe not everybody does. I don't know. This guy did, and
some people are hard to sedate.
It just kind of freaked me out seeing someone with their eyes taped shut more than all the blood.
Right. We were working on a guy in the middle of surgery, and he full blown wakes up and tries to unstrap himself, and so then there's God. 3 people running in the room to jump on top of this guy because he's freaking the Hulk, and he's like, ah! And we're like, no.
Oh my God.
We're trying to take your teeth out. Sit still.
So do you guys have good, great, and awesome, like, denture teeth that you can pick from, where some you use for immediates or some you use for the more expensive one? Do you guys have tiers like that there?
Yeah, so we do. We have like an economy and then like a premium and an ultimate fit. So like our economy teeth they're new shade plus.
I don't think I've heard of them.
The hot shade is 55.
Yeah.
Everyone knows 55 is the new 30.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me tell you. It's pretty nice. And then we have for like our premium, we use Image APN.
Never heard of that one.
For our ultimate fit, we use the Ivoclar.
Aw, good.
I get so excited when I get those.
Yeah. Tooth shapes are great. So do you like tweaking your laterals a little bit, or do the patients dictate what they want to look like? I mean, how does that all roll in with what you do?
Girl, these patients love to dictate. It is a monarchy up in that bitch. Like, they're like straight up. They tell me, like, literally, I have to bust the articulator out sometimes and like show them how the mouth functions, because folks will come in and they'll demand to be a class 3 and they know good and damn well they're not, and they're just like, this is how I want my teeth. And I'm like, do you want to eat?
Well, obviously they don't say they want to be class 3. What do they say?
They'll legit show me, like, they'll fix their jaw in a way as like to how they want their teeth presented, like especially if they have the wax try in their mouth.
Yeah.
I mean, they're not all bad, but like there's a lot of them that come in and they're just, and I understand it. Like I always tell them, you know, I'm here for you.
Yeah.
I take care of you like you're my grandma. Like, I'm not going to give you anything I wouldn't want her to wear.
Yep.
So like, yeah, I mean, they're not all bad. I mean, obviously you have the ones that come in and they're really salty and then they think they're going to have like the worst experience and they're like hard to please. But then you deliver their denture and they're like crying. And that's the best feeling in the world, right?
Yes, totally.
I don't know. Like, you get the good and the bad and the crazy, and it's a part of dental, I guess.
How do they handle selecting the teeth? Do you give them options or do you pick one?
So
say, this is what I suggest.
Most of the time we'll pick just by like their arch and stuff.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if there is a patient that we feel like they're going to keep wanting to change the shade, like you'll have them change it from A1 to B1 and then back to A1 and then back to B1. You'll shift their midline left to the right, up, down. So, like, if it's one of those, I really do try to make sure I take the time to make them feel like that we're there for them.
They're involved.
Yeah, so... like I'll go in there and like I'll pick out 3 different molds and I'll be like, yes, this is what we have, and I'll kind of let them choose, make them feel like they're in control. Because I mean, when you have a busy schedule, yeah, they are in and out, but I feel like sometimes they might feel like they're rushed, and like I don't ever want them to feel like they're making a decision because they're being rushed, or if they feel like they're rushed and they're just making a decision. Like I kind of sit down with them and I'm like, hey, we're here for you, but we can't help you if you don't let us know.
Yeah, for sure. And then they're happy.
What's the percentage that you usually do that's an overdenture? Because I imagine you see a lot of locator cases at affordable dentures and implants.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. I did one this morning before I dipped out. It just really varies. I mean, I would say we get at least 5 a week.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
If not more.
Is that the attachment of choice for the company?
I'm not sure. They definitely make it known that like they are big on the implants because they do them there. And we do have a lot of people go with those. They also have an option for digital dentures, which like they want to start incorporating. Of course, the doctors can decide whether they want their office to go fully digital or not. Right now, we're kind of like doing both, but we haven't converted the lab or anything.
What does that mean? Like is the doctor scanning or?
Yeah, so they'll scan and stuff like that. But like we have talked about in the future, possibly bringing in the digital and trying to do like maybe our premium cases analog and then everything else digital.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just in the talks right now.
Are you down for that? Would you like to learn that?
I would love to learn that. I'm also like I'm open to learning anything and everything that there is to learn, as long as it's easy for me to access, like
yeah.
Like I'm trying to get there. Like I'm really enjoying watching everybody like on their digital journey now. I know there's a lot of like trial and error with it, but
yeah,
it looks like a good time. I definitely want to start learning more about that, and then like being able to do the fancy cases, because obviously they look like so much fun.
Do you have the ability to go to like CE courses and get more training where you're at?
I have not looked into that yet, since like I've only been with them for the better part of 3 months. So it's definitely something that I need to ask and see whatever else they have to offer. I know that I want to get my CDT, and they do reimburse us for that, which is kind of a start for me. I need to try to look into getting that, and then also like just furthering my education. Life gets busy, but we got to grind to get.
Barb wrote all the questions for the CDT.
Oh, I did some of them.
I'm just kidding.
So that would be helpful. Yep. You got a little book? You got a little bookie book?
Yeah. I have good memories.
She wants the cheat sheet, Barb.
Hey, I can earn it fairly too. The cheat sheet would be dope though.
Oh yeah, sorry. I want the cheat sheet.
Of course you do. You can't have it.
Did you find the training from Affordable different than Aspen? Did they have to retrain you? Was there things they do different that was noticeable for you?
So I didn't have to do like any retraining. Like I think most of it was just like a bench assessment.
Yeah, I'm sure you flew right through it.
Yeah, so I did that before they hired me, and then there wasn't really anything extra, but I mean, I can say I've had my fair share of seeing the traditional way of doing things, and then like the more modern way, I would say, like aside from digital, because I've been in labs where like I remember walking in and seeing the packing for the first time, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like how do I flask that? What do I do with that thing? And just like the nervousness of being in a different setting, and like them using different materials and different things. I think that having moved around and been able to see that has also like not only given me the knowledge but the confidence to go in there and feel like I can get it done. Not saying that extra training is bad, because it's good, but there wasn't really anything different. I would say like they do operate like they have the same kind of materials and stuff as Aspen, but they just have their demands are different.
It sounds like you have to do a lot more there.
Well, you do, but you also have to think about
40 a day.
It's not always 40 a day, and since I've been there, it hasn't been 40 a day. It's been really slow, but like they've just kind of made it clear that it can get pretty hectic.
So, are you in charge of training any of the new technicians that come into the company, or?
So yes.
Nice.
One of the girls, she did processing, and the model work and pretty much everything else but setting teeth. And like, of course, when they were running at such a high pace, it was really hard for her to get that training.
Yeah.
But like, there is a lot of extra support within the company where they have, like, if we ever did get to the point to where I felt like I couldn't train her and do everything else at the same time, they have a lot of support that they can send, as well as I feel like just them being able to have the opportunity to get their hands on things is going to help them learn a lot too.
Yeah.
So like, just giving them the confidence to give them the opportunity is honestly everything, because sometimes people, they're supposed to train you right, but they don't really guide you. I don't know if that makes sense.
Interesting.
Like,
yeah. I mean, usually in labs, you never have the time.
Right.
So time.
Time is of the essence.
Yeah, and then you like, we'll get to it, and you never get to it. That's the problem. Like,
it would just weigh so heavily on me, because like I wouldn't want to tell anyone anything that I felt like I couldn't live up to.
Yeah, I agree.
Because like, giving someone hope and taking it away is almost like crushing someone, you know?
Yeah. I'm going to train you.
Yeah, like, because she really wanted to learn to set teeth, but they always said they never had time. And I said, you know what? I think it was like my first week, I gave her a full lower set up against a natural. And she set that thing up, and I was like, oh my gosh, she knows what she's supposed to do. She's got this going. Like, she just needs a little bit of confidence and like to tweak some things, you know? But she had it. And like, her very first setup went to finish.
Really?
It did.
That's awesome.
That's got to be pretty rare.
I'm telling you, I had them call her in there too so she could see it in the patient's mouth, and she was so excited, and it just made my heart so happy. I was just like, way to go, man.
Well, that's an easy train then if they can already do that.
Yeah, but you got to pick up wherever they left off.
Yeah, sure.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
I think, yeah, it would definitely be time consuming to try to train someone from nothing to like a full tech. Like, it could definitely be done, but you would have to be able to have the time to guide them. Like, for instance, when I learned at Aspen, like, it's a much slower pace. So it's easier for like you and one other person to sit down and get something done besides being distracted a whole bunch, if that makes sense.
So have you ever had to train somebody from nothing?
I have not.
Yeah. I wonder how you even go about it.
You start with model work, landmarks, anatomy.
Yeah.
And then, pouring impressions. Like, once they know what they're looking at, then they can start to get their hands on it.
How do you do your setups? We're talked to a lot of removable technicians, and everyone tends to have a little different way about going about setups.
Oh, like...
I knew a guy that did them upside down. We've talked to people that start with the front two. We've had people start with the posterior. I mean, it's just kind of all over the place.
I agree with that. I don't think I ever have one routine where I set every case exactly the same.
Really? Interesting.
It really just depends, but I mean, I start with my top two, like before I've done my full lower, starting with the centrals and then just placing everything. But as of late, I start with the top. I'll set my two centrals and then follow along my plane with those and then set the lower to it. But I do always try to place my first buys last.
Why is that? I'm curious.
Spacing.
Huh.
I don't know. I just feel like I'm able to get to achieve a tighter setup when I do that. And I know it's really weird.
That is crazy, but it works for you. So obviously
it does.
It's good. That's good. I've never heard that before.
Is that because it's easier to cut that tooth to make it fit?
I don't always like to cut the tooth.
Oh.
I do a little sliver sometimes if I have to, but
sure.
I feel like, I don't know, the function that I get is just great. Just
interesting.
Glides right on about.
You mentioned that the affordable that you're in has some digital. Are you printing anything or doing anything in the lab that's digital?
So, no, not yet.
Wow. That's
something that they'll scan off and they do elsewhere on the outside. I know they have some people that are doing it for affordable.
Oh, you mean like a subcontractor?
I'm not sure if it's that or if they actually have it within the company.
Yeah, another affordable. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm not exactly sure about that, but I know that I have talked to Doc and we've spoken about trying to maybe not when it's so hectic, but right now we're slow. I was like, man, we could convert this, jump on board and try to pick up.
There you go.
I'm trying to convince him.
Give him a little nudge. This is where we kind of need to go,
But
so
he's
let's go.
down with it. Like he signed up for wanting to do it. You know, when they first asked, he's like put it down for the office and stuff. So I think he's eager to learn the new technology as well.
Do you guys get doctors that go in and go out, or is it mostly? Well, I know you've only been there 3 months, but does the doctor own the practice, or how does that work?
So I don't think that anyone owns it. I think they just have the doctors that manage it because I work with two.
And they don't they stay there pretty much their whole career, or do they go in and out into different places? Do you know?
So no, one of them has been there for 6 years and the other one I think for 3. But I think that they
Oh, that's good.
basically just stay with the practice unless they part ways with the company.
Gotcha. Okay, that's cool. Because we work for Aspen a lot, and they trade up and move over and change places a fair amount.
Yeah, they be flip
Some of
flopping.
them. Yeah, so I was curious if that's a similar work model.
I will say, Ashleigh, for someone that's only been there 4 months, you're doing a great job talking about the company.
Yeah.
Dude,
Okay.
I feel put on spot about that because I'm like, oh shit, what if I don't represent this piece in the right way? I'm like, someone's probably going to listen to this and be like, I've been with the company for 10 years.
Yeah.
For 10 fucking years.
And I don't move around. Stay there. I love it. That's great.
Yeah.
So what do you see like your job changing? Do you think it'll evolve at all as you stay there for longer and longer and longer?
I do. I definitely do. I see the near future changing just because digital's becoming more prominent.
Yeah.
Feel like, as I've been saying, I'm trying to nudge Doc onto the bandwagon.
Mm-hmm.
I think it'd be really beneficial for everyone.
Are there other Aspen? I keep saying that. Are there other affordables that are fully digital, just killing it, that you could use as a training facility or reference or anything?
I'm not even sure about that.
You had to get out more. Just kidding.
I gotta ask more questions, I guess. The day gets busy, the day gets long. But yeah, I mean, those are definitely things that I will reach out to them about.
Yeah. I mean, I know all corporate dentistry is making that move just because it's where everything needs to go right now.
Right.
I mean, Aspen's got the push, Affordable's working on it. I mean, it just seems like the most logical step.
Yeah, for sure. I think it would be beneficial for us all to learn together.
And you don't see yourself being out of work because of it.
No, definitely not. I mean, there's always work to be done. I mean, if folks can't afford digital, I mean, there's still going to be an option for old fashioned, of course.
Yeah. I notice online you do a lot of teeth that are gold and dentures.
Yes.
Is this a thing in Nashville or?
Dude, it is and I love it. Like golds are my favorite. I get so freaking hype. I'm like, yes, dude. Yes. It's great. Like they be putting diamonds in it and all kinds of stuff. Like they're like, yeah, let me get the one with the little jewel. I'm like, yeah, all right, we got you. We got you.
How often do you think you do them? I bet you we did it like twice a year here in Indiana.
Well, I've done it
if we were lucky.
I've done 5 cases in the past 3 months. So
that's awesome. I mean, I imagine that's a premium cost to the patient, I imagine.
Yes, for sure. You're going to want to give them better teeth, better materials.
Wow.
It's rewarding for me. I dig it. I dig those people who are like, hey, let me get that gold. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Well, I've also seen pictures of you with bright pink hair, so you seem to be that type that just put it out there. So.
It's actually orange now, but...
Oh, okay.
Yeah, for sure. Like, it's funny because we had a doctor who came to fill in from another affordable because, like, our doctors were at a convention or something. So she came in and she looked at me and she was like, hey, I know you. And, of course, I'm getting nervous as I'm like, oh, shit, where does she know me from? Is it, like, a good encounter? Is it a bad encounter? I don't know. Like... And she was like, yeah. She's like, you look so familiar. She's like, I think it's your hair. And I was like, yeah, probably. And it turns out we worked together at an Aspen like 5 years prior.
Oh.
And like, she remembers me from like 5 years ago. I'm like, holy shit. I guess the hair is the trademark. I don't know.
Hey, whatever works, you know?
I'm impulsive like that. I'd love to dye my hair.
Yeah, so do I. So I got a question on your Instagram. So how often are you posting on there? Like, how do you just like a case is interesting and you're like, all right, I'm going to put this on there or what?
So I really love immediate cases just because, I mean, they're really rewarding, especially like when you have one that comes in really crazy and you're actually able to make it look really, really nice. It's the best. I mean, because we do get really busy, most of the time I'll set my phone up and film a bunch of content and then just go back and pick and choose. And then
Awesome.
like as far as like pictures, if I feel like the case was really rewarding or I just like the way that it turned out, I always try to document it. Like even if it's not my best, like I still like to have that as something for reflection, I guess.
Yeah. You can go back and review and see how far along you've come
and like things that I can work on, because like we can always be better. Like I said, I always try to wake up and be a better person than I was the day before, as well as a better technician.
What made you start posting?
Oh, I was working at a lab in Nashville, and me and this girl got hired on about the same time, and she used to work for Aspen as well. We had the same background, of course, like everybody and their mom works for Aspen.
Yeah.
And she was like, hey, you know, I've been posting my work on Instagram. She's like, you should do it too. And I was like, oh, okay. And then I created a page and started posting stuff. And like, I don't think it was just about the content I was posting. It was also about like the content I was able to get my hands on. Cause like I learned so much from people on there.
Did you know the community on Instagram before you got on there?
So I did not.
It's insane, isn't it? I had no idea until a couple years ago, and I was like, oh, this is where everybody's hanging out.
100% insane, like just organically going about it, you know, and then you meet all these people, and like there's all these technicians from different places in the world, and their work is so amazing and it's so inspiring, and everybody has their own story and their own journey, and it's dope. We can all share the in our day, but we can also share the things that we really enjoyed as well. And
yeah,
great. I feel like it makes us all strive to be better, but also to be like super supportive.
You think you improve by just putting the pictures out there, knowing that other people are looking at it, thinking, wow, I have to do better because it's out there?
I mean, obviously you always want to put out your best, but I'm not sure that everything solely that I post is about necessarily to make me feel good. I think it's more of like to show where I stand and like also where I want to go. Things that I can reflect on. Like I can look at my stuff and be like, okay, that looks really good, but like the more I look at it, I'm like, okay, so this is what I can change. Like this is what I can do better.
Do you ever scroll back to the very first post, look at it, judge it?
All the time. All the time. I do. I know it's crazy, but like I always scroll back and I'm like, damn, you know, I've come a long way, but like there's still room to grow for sure.
Yeah.
It's not bad. I'm looking at your very first one. If it lets me go back that far, and it's not bad, I'd hire you.
Oh,
yeah.
You
talk about evolving though. Like, how do you look at pictures? Do you look at videos? Like when you don't have somebody that's training you all day, every day, like how do you push yourself to get better? It's obviously you're self-motivated, but like where do you find it all? Is it mostly on Instagram?
Instagram, YouTube, like research. Like I'll even watch surgery videos.
Oh God!
Do you have to lay down to do it, or?
Bro, I knew you were coming in hot with that. No, I'm already stationed. I have to be stationed in a chair.
2 pillows shoved in on either side. I'm ready.
IV of water, like. But yeah, source material from anywhere really. But like honestly, Instagram has always been really great because there are all these other amazing technicians in different points in their career. And, you know, you can tell that they've worked really hard to get there, but also that they have a lot of like supportive information to help other people who were once in their shoes, you know, trying to learn, trying to get better and find different ways to go about things.
What I love about it is people posting their work, but it's not comments of what they did wrong. It's people asking your process and then the poster answering it openly.
Right.
I mean, almost all these you can click on the comments and someone's like, well, how did you get that? And then the person's like, well, I use this tool and this tool and this process. And it's, I think that's what helps it grow and be so popular. It's not just pictures and no information, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like it's super informational. It's the best. Like honestly, like if I can think of something that like I'm handed a case and I'm like I have no idea where to go or where to begin on this, like you said, there's no one extra there to train you. 9 times out of 10 you can think of something where you've seen something similar and you can go back to it and look at it and be like, okay, so this is what direction I need to go.
Yeah. It's amazing to me, the willingness to help on
It's
Instagram.
Great.
I used to think Instagram was just pictures, but it really isn't.
It's changing a lot. Yeah, it's changing fast.
You got to click on the view comments, and it's pretty amazing what you can learn.
I want to tell everybody, the comments are the best. You have to. Like, you have to. They're the best.
That's half the fun.
It is.
What about local shows? Well, you're in Nashville, so I guess Chicago. Do you head up to Chicago every year?
I don't. I've actually never been to Chicago, believe it or not.
What?
Yeah. Never been to Chicago.
You got to get to Chicago next year.
I know. That's the plan. That's for sure the plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no other meeting like that. You would pick up so much from going to that meeting. You got to be your own advocate and talk to your company and be like, all right, guys, send me here.
Right, for sure.
Yeah.
I know there's been a couple years that I plan to go with people, but it's fell through. So I've always felt super like awkward going by myself, you know?
Yeah, I can see that.
You won't be.
Yeah.
You know all the people on Instagram. You won't be alone. I tell this to people all the time.
Yeah. Yeah. When you go to a place like Chicago, you just find people that are like-minded, that know you or know your name, and you just hang out.
Sounds rad.
Everybody be like, hey, there's that crazy haired girl. There she is.
Yeah.
There's that dude Elvis.
Yeah.
Oh, Lord.
Everyone
Tired.
hide. And I mentioned it to you right before we started, because Nashville Ladies of the Mill, got to make sure you go to that next year.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, you missed a great show.
I know. Like I said, I was listening to your recordings and stuff, and I was like, oh, and I saw the pictures. I was like, oh, it just looks like so much fun. So much fun.
And what was it like right down the street?
Yeah, legit.
Next year.
I'm telling you.
I've got to be there too. I keep saying that I'm going to go, and I still haven't been. So this year I'm going.
I feel like a jerk off. I'm 15 minutes down the road. Like,
that's pretty bad.
Oh, sheesh.
But you also have a family, so we get it.
I do. Yes, I do. I have 3 little rascals, so.
You have 3 kids?
I do.
Aw.
They're the.
How the hell do you manage your workload and 3 kids?
That's what I'm
Jeez.
saying. Like when it when it comes to like trying to expand my mind with it, I want to so bad, but at the same time, work-life balance is everything.
Yes, totally.
I imagine blood doesn't bother you now that you've had 3 kids.
Well, no, not as much.
The grossness that kids produce.
Dude, I'm telling you, especially these suckers. Ugh.
What ages are they? Any interest of doing what mom does? Or are they too young?
Yeah, so Noah's 3, Cohen is 7, he'll be 8 next week, and Bailey is 9, she'll be 10 in January.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Oh yeah, you could get them setting teeth now.
I got them
exactly.
a little like Play-Doh tooth setting thing. So.
Oh, of course, that thing's great.
Yeah, they dig that. They love toothbrushes, so like, you know, that's great, right?
Well, that's half the battle of raising kids.
I'm telling you. Be going through like the whole package of toothbrushes because like they take one, pick it up, somehow it manages to end up on the ground, grab another one.
Oh.
And I'm just like, y'all are going through all these toothbrushes, y'all. Come on now.
I make teeth. I don't get toothbrushes for free.
I know, right? Yeah. But like, my daughter's always super interested. She'll be like, "Oh, what's that, mommy?" She's like, "Did you make that?" And I'm like, "Yes." You know, all flattered.
Awesome.
Do you have a little waxing station at home where you can bring stuff from work?
I don't, but I need one. Good. That is something that I'm
don't have
thinking
one.
About.
Keep the line deep and straight between work.
Yeah.
I'm telling you.
Exactly.
Or keep it in the shed in the backyard. Either or.
Well, Ashleigh, it's exciting that what you're doing, and thank you so much, honestly, for talking about a place you've only been at for 4 months.
Bro.
Pretty impressive.
It is. We didn't mean to put you on the spot, but I think you did a fantastic job. I didn't know that much about affordable.
And now I do. I was really jazzed about that because, like I said, we work for Aspens and some of those people, but I don't think Elvis and I have ever talked to anybody from affordable. So thank you for kind of setting the tone and the picture of what they're doing there. That's great.
Thanks. I really appreciate you guys having me. Thank you for your time. Yeah, I hope I did justice.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's great.
Definitely need to push those guys into getting digital too for you.
I'm
trying. I bet you'll be damn good at that too.
I'm like a huge advocate, and I know nothing about it, but obviously what I see and read. But I'm for it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, awesome. They need to get you digital and you to Chicago Lab Day.
Yes, sir.
So what is your Instagram? How can people follow you?
So my name on there is really long.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm having you say it.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. So _A period S period H period L period E period I period G period H __.
Wow.
Damn.
So I know, but like all the Ashleighs were taken, so like I had to add all these periods and underscores.
Oh, that's how it works. All right. I was like, wow.
Yes, because like God, I have such a freaking common name. It sucks.
But not a common spelling. At least to me, it's
You
not,
would be surprised. So. There's a whole bunch of
guess.
these on there.
Yeah. Well, in case people didn't hear that, we'll be sure to have a link on this episode's show notes. Ashleigh, thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks, you.
Guys.
We appreciate it and hope to see you soon.
Right on. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Ashleigh, for coming on our podcast. We really appreciate that you were able to talk about affordable dentures and implants, even though you haven't been there for very long, which is very surprising because she was pretty awesome, I'll say.
Handled it well.
Yes, she did. It's always amazing to hear from technicians that get to deal with the patients and how they handle them, and sometimes they're blunt or not. Let's just say it's not for everybody, and I'm going to include myself in there. And to go from pouring 400 models, which is crazy, a night, to teaching others how to set up teeth is quite an accomplishment. So congratulations to all your success and your future success, Ashleigh.
Awesome.
And your hair.
Whatever color it is that day.
Right on.
All right, everybody, that's all we got for you. And we'll talk to you next week.
Have a good week.
Have a good one. Bye. You want a room full of big balls? Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying.